Hello, this is Heather Connor, and this is my Week 12 weekly summary for Physics 112. I began the week, as I do every week, by looking at the announcements, and we had some information about what was going to be required of the Project 4 and other things that were required for the week. We got some new due dates posted. Due by midnight tonight is be caught up with everything so far in the semester, choose a Project 4 topic, begin research on that, learn about relativity. We had a neat resource and a weekly summary for the week, and then we were required to make some contributions to the Digital Nation discussion that's on the discussion board. So the first thing I did for the week was go to the course content, to the Week 12 folder, and there was a pencast on relativity, which I watched. That's here. Excuse me, I enjoyed the example of the stretched rubber sheet that came up in an earlier pencast as well, and it helps make things a little more clear for me. Some of the things that I learned in the pencast that were surprising to me were included the fact that the closer that something gets to traveling at the speed of light, the more massive it becomes. That seemed a little bit less intuitive to me than I expected, but after watching the pencast, it became a little bit more clear. And it's all based on mathematics, which that's how it made it more clear to me. Theoretically, it was more difficult for me to grasp than it was mathematically. What we did find out is that it's not possible for anything to actually reach the speed of light, because then the mass would have to be infinite, and that is not possible. I enjoyed the discussion about Lewis Carroll Epstein and the books that he wrote, and I may look into buying those myself. Sounds like it may make things a little bit simpler and show how physics applies to everyday life. I liked the separation in the pencast between special relativity and general relativity. This also played somewhat into the neat resources for the week. I was surprised to find out that general relativity is more complicated than special relativity, and that general relativity encompasses special relativity and then adds a twist, and that's acceleration or movement, or excuse me, acceleration. We talked a little bit about vectors and tensors. Like I said, we talked about the bowling ball, golf ball example on the stretched rubber sheet. I had never heard of the theory of everything, which is the last topic from the pencast, which Einstein attempted to come up with from 1918 to 1950. He wanted to unite quantum, classical, special relativistic, general relativistic physics, and wasn't able to do that in his lifetime. I need to read up a little bit more on string theory. I've heard of it before, but I don't really understand it. But David mentioned that this may be this theory of everything. The problem with coming up with a theory of everything is that theories need to be testable, and string theory is not necessarily testable for various reasons. So while I was watching that, I took notes in my notebook. I also took notes for some of the neat resources that I watched, and also for the Digital Nation chapters that I watched. And I will show you that now. I know it's backwards, but these are my Week 12 notes that I took so far. So I'm still writing in my notebook as requested or required for the class. After doing the pencast, I went to the discussion board, read up on any new topics that I hadn't seen yet. I did some additional controversial debate topics this week. I was pleased to see that we have another week with which to finish all of the controversial debate topics. I'm going for an A, so I do have to do 32 different postings. I've done 10 of the 32 so far that have been posted to the board. I've got others that are being worked on, and I hope to do 4 to 6 a day until they're due at the end of next week. What else did I do this week? I looked, there were some new Project 3 Prezzies posted. I watched those and went through those. I saw that there were some additional postings for the educational value of creative disobedience. I didn't respond to any of those, but I have read all the ones that have been posted. I can respond if necessary. For Project 4, Brian and I will be working together on that project. Brian has volunteered to be the team captain, or project captain for this one, and together we came up with the satellite power cells as our topic for project number 4, and we've begun some of the research on that. For the Digital Nation project, or discussion board topic, I've watched the first 2 chapters and responded to those chapters, and I'm going to hopefully do a couple of chapters every day to get that finished. Maybe not every day, but at least 2 to 3 a week, so that I can meet all the deadlines. I thought that the premise of the video series is very good. I certainly find myself falling into the distraction category where I'm supposed to be working on one thing, but I've got a computer near me, so I start surfing the web for something that I'm not necessarily working on, and you don't even realize how much time you're spending diverting attention from the task in front of you. So I look forward to seeing what the rest of this series involves. So far, based on chapter 1 and chapter 2, my belief is that we should reduce the amount of distractions available to us, because it may be dumbing us down. That goes with some of the studies done by Stanford and the other gentleman who was studying how the internet affects our brain. So that was the Digital Nation discussion board topic. I posted my neat resource, which were 3-minute physics videos. I think that they're very interesting and entertaining to watch. They're short, they're sweet, but they're powerful. So I posted 3 of those just because I didn't think a 1-minute video was enough for this topic. I also watched and responded to the 3 others that were posted for the week so far. I expect that I'll be responding to more as they're posted throughout the day, but that's all that we've had for the week so far. So I have to say that I had always been somewhat intimidated by the theory of relativity, be it special or general. I didn't necessarily know there were 2 at the time. Definitely heard of E equals MC squared. I don't know that there's many people out there that have gone through high school that haven't at least had some small exposure to E equals MC squared in terms of the equation, but I guess I never really grasped what it meant. And understanding that we are able to describe, and this was what was in one of the neat resources that I watched that I thought was really powerful, is that relativity is a way to describe what 2 people see. And well, here, let me actually pull that out. Sorry for that little pause there. What I was going to talk about was the neat resource posted by Juan. I thought had some great information in it and made things much clearer to me. It talked about how it's not how fast somebody is moving, but how fast is somebody moving relative to other things. And it also talks about how people see things and how they can see things the same or differently depending on whether one of them is moving or one of them isn't. I thought that was a very good video to watch. So that concludes my weekly summary for week 12. I estimate that I've spent about 10 hours this week on doing research for the controversial debates, topics, looking for neat resources, responding and watching other neat resources, watching a couple of the Digital Nation chapters, taking notes, watching the Pencast, all of that. I'd estimate it's about 10 hours. I expect to do another couple of hours, or at least another hour by the time more neat resources are posted by other classmates, watching those and responding. So that's it, and I will be back next week. Thank you.